Thanks for tuning in to Say What Now? Reddit Stories. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and don't forget to turn on those notifications. And now, on to the story of Am I the asshole for how I reacted when my niece announced she was engaged? I, 33M, have a pretty big age difference with my brother, 44M. He had a child at 25, which means that I became an uncle at 14. Because we're pretty close in age, I formed a special bond with my niece, Ella, who's now 18. When she was 16, my brother and his family moved away, so I've been seeing less recently. But we keep in touch and catch up at family events. Last year at Christmas, my niece told me that she had a boyfriend and told me a bit about him, but I didn't know the guy. He was invited for Easter and a couple of other events, but never was able to make it. When we were planning our mother's birthday, my brother decided to invite Ella's boyfriend so that we could all meet him. Yesterday was the party. I was looking forward to meeting Mark, Ella's boyfriend, but was very confused when I saw her walk in with a man that looked doubled her age. Spoiler alert, he is. She introduced him to me, and I politely smiled, but was deep down very concerned. I went to my brother to ask, how old is Mark? And he told me that Mark is 36, so literally double Ella's age. She had told me that he was a bit older, but I assumed like early to mid 20s, not almost 40. That's when they called us in the living room to share exciting news. Ella showed us a ring and revealed that they were engaged. Engaged. All I could say was, "What the F?" And everyone turned around and looked at me like I was crazy. I told them that they were out of their minds if they thought that this was normal and that there was no world in which a 30 something should date an 18-year-old and that she shouldn't be getting married. All of them accused me of ruining Ella's happiness. Some even said that I was jealous of Mark, which is so effing disgusting, and I can't even explain it. I mean, I'm younger than Mark, but never in a million years would I ever consider dating someone younger than 25. They told me that it was a perfectly legal age as they were both adults, which isn't true because they've been dating for a year and Ella turned 18 7 months ago. And that if they were happy, that's all that matters. I told them that they were sick for allowing this and that he was a predator, but they wouldn't listen. I know this isn't my business, but I can't help but fear for Ella. She is young and doesn't really know what she's getting into. I'm really scared of her getting married and being unable to leave him when she realizes how sick it is. I then left and slammed the door and have been receiving some pretty wild messages and calls since then. I don't know if I was wrong for this and am just overreacting. And if I wasn't wrong, I don't know what I can do to make them realize how wrong it is. Am I the asshole? So, this is coming with two updates. Update one. So, I've taken the past 24 hours to really reflect on all of this. I tried to take in most of the advice in the comments, and here's what I decided. I don't think me telling her and everyone that the relationship is weird is wrong. I do, however, think that I did it wrong and it was pretty harsh because it was in the heat of the moment. But I still find this very creepy and I don't think she should get married. So here's what I have decided to do. One, I've decided to apologize to her. So I sent her a text message saying I was sorry for the outburst and that I should have thought it through beforehand. I told her that I never wanted to make her feel like I didn't want her to be happy and that I loved her very much and had her best interests in mind. Two, I asked her if we could talk about this. I asked if she would be okay and free to hang out and maybe get a coffee this week to talk about all of this with a clear head. I really wanted to try to get her to see why it's weird and then maybe marrying him is not a great choice. Three, I had to explain myself to my brother, so I sent him a text message saying that I was sorry for the way I said it, but that I still thought it needed to be said. I explained to him why I think Mark is a predator and this relationship could have a very negative and damaging impact on Ella. I'm still waiting on replies and I'll update once a reply comes through or when she accepts, if she accepts. Update 2. Ella replied and told me she agreed to meet with me and talk, and I just came back from seeing her, so here's how it went. She asked me what I wanted to tell her, and I started explaining that I didn't think her relationship was very healthy and that no older guy should want to date a teenager. I told her that she was an incredible woman, so I wasn't saying it was weird that someone wanted to marry her, but that guys my age normally shouldn't even look at a teenager. She wasn't convinced and said sometimes it's true, but sometimes it's okay. I asked her how she would feel if I told her that someone born today could be her future partner. She said it felt really weird. I also asked if she would consider dating someone younger than 15, and she said no. I could see her starting to realize that Mark maybe didn't have the best intentions. I also asked her if she knew about his previous relationships, and she said vaguely and just told me that the girl's name. I asked her if she knew how old the girl was, and she said she was 21. I also asked her if she knew that their relationship overlapped, and she said that Mark always told her that he was single since they met, but she kind of felt like that wasn't true. I told her that since this previous girlfriend was also significantly younger, it seemed like he had a thing for younger girls, which is kind of weird. After discussing that, she told me a bit more about her relationship. She told me that she was starting to feel weird about it because of Mark's recent behavior. I asked what that meant, and she said that he had been flirting with girls who were also younger, including some of Ella's friends. When she confronted him, he sort of gaslit her into thinking it wasn't flirting. He was also making a lot of comments about having children with Ella and how cute it would be to see her raise them. She told me she was absolutely not ready for that and also wanted to go to college and work and not be a stay-at-home mom. Because of all of that, she was doubting her relationship, and I told her that I understood. She said she was scared of breaking up with him because he had become her whole life recently, and she didn't know what she would do without him. I told her she was surrounded by people who loved her and would be there for her, and that she was a lot more than just Mark's girlfriend. I said that she knew my opinion on it, but ultimately the choice was hers, and that I just wanted her to be happy. I also said I would be there for her no matter what. She told me that she will try to break up with him this week and she'll let me know how that goes. Again, I'll edit this post if I have more info. Sorry, y'all, there's another update. Update 3. Since my conversation with Ella, I would check in on her maybe once or twice a week and ask her how things were, and she'd always tell me pretty much the same as it was a month ago. Basically, there were many red flags and she was getting more and more uncomfortable in her relationship, but also that she didn't know how to break up with him. I tried to give her some advice, but eventually told her I thought she should do what she wants to do and when she feels comfortable doing it. Yesterday, I called her to let her know or ask her what she had planned on Christmas and if she was coming to Christmas dinner that I was hosting and if Mark would be coming. That's when she told me that she had broken up with him the evening before. She was still pretty shaken up, so I didn't ask for too much detail and asked if she wanted to come over to my house for a while. She told me that Mark had left to stay with his family when she told him, so she was okay staying home. This is maybe not very detailed update, but here's what I know. She told me that he had been getting angry at her all week for small things. And then they were talking about Christmas, and he insisted that they shouldn't go with Ella's family. Instead, spend a week with his family because they see him less as they live out of state. And after that, he made a comment about how he hoped that next year, as a present, they could give his mother a grandchild. And Ella said that's what really made her break up with him. And also, she told me that she would be coming home alone for Christmas. I don't know what she told him or how he reacted, and maybe she'll tell me more in a while when she feels better. And if not, I won't ask her to. If I get more information, I'll edit this post again. But in the meantime, I was right. There's no more updates, but that is very weird. I you know, I don't want to say I get, but I know we've seen indefinite history where back in the days, people used to date and marry people who were younger. That's still baffling of the mind as to how and or why that was okay. Well, like what concept? And that's the basis of people who date that young normally go off of. Well, back in the day, you used to see all the time that 16-year-old girls were married, and that made it okay? It doesn't. I promise it doesn't. At 16, you still don't even know who you are fully. Hell, 18, 20, 21, you don't know who you are fully. You're still coming into your own, still trying to figure life out. So now you want me to figure out life and be married? And then you're not even asking what I want to do with my life. As you are 30 something years old and probably have it figured out, you're not asking what I want to do for my life. But as she stated, she wanted to go to college. She wanted to do stuff. She didn't want to be a stay at home mom. That's not everybody's dream. This is why, before getting into deep relationships, have conversations with people to see if you're aligned. Because if the two of you are not aligned, it is not going to work. Even more, he was definitely predator because you got with her when she was 17. Ew, ew. And for anybody that might be thinking or try to come in the comments and say, in some states, 17 is legal. No, it's not. Stop playing. And if you think that way, you're weird too. Very much so. And y'all comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Comment, like, and subscribe. Until then, bye bye.